Matrox Origin is a development framework that is targeting Tier 1 live production in the cloud. What we're doing is we are making generic IT equipment capable of producing and processing video. If we think of data centers as generic IT systems, these are just hardware components, CPUs, GPUs, storage, and fast networking. And these compute devices have been designed to be used as generic compute for many, many different industries. And our industry is not that different. So what we're introducing here with Matrox Origin is a media framework that lives on top of generic compute devices. What this framework does is it makes these generic data centers and computers media aware, makes them resilient, it gives them scalability, it gives them live migration capability, routing capability of video, audio, and ancillary data flows. So this is the framework that Matrox Origin is. On top of this framework, there are components, and these components we call media services. And media services traditionally are boxes that sit on a rack that are interconnected through SDI or 2110 to make something with the video and audio and ancillary data. So these media services are software processing modules that live on top of the framework, and these can be of an I/O type. So this could be NDI, CDI, SRT, WebRTC, or anything that interfaces with the external real-time world. The external real-time world being something like this camera or a monitor. But other than that, everything in between is generic computers running as fast as possible and doing the job that they need to do. So these media processing, we have the I/O type that we discussed, but then there's media processing that is actually just crunching data, writing files, scaling, compositing, encoding, and all these types of processing modules that replace dedicated boxes that do a single job. On top of these, we need a way to control all these boxes, and through this, what Matrox Origin provides is an API, a web-based API for somebody to develop a controlling application. And a controlling application takes these media processing units that we're discussing about, these media services, and can orchestrate them, can deploy them, can assign them to different locations, different compute, and control each of these to perform a task. Now, the task being live production. Now, once this controlling application exists, well, it needs to monitor to figure out how to automate all of this and create a whole ecosystem that could be of a very, very large scale. So the framework provides metrics on what is going on in the whole system, and it allows to automate and orchestrate and deploy all these systems at a large scale. And that, in a nutshell, is what Matrox Origin is.
What we're showing here is our developer user interface that we've developed to demonstrate the system, and that we will give to developers to help them develop their own system. But Origin is sort of disconnected through an API underneath, and we would assume that developers would build their own control applications from our API and our underlying technology. So we have a system that runs a number of media services. Here we're seeing the different services. They are inputs, outputs, and mixers. In this particular example, we have 5 mixers in series playing out over WebRTC. So on the right-hand side, we can see the metrics for measuring CPU load, memory load, network performance, but also how long is it taking to process our media frames. And here we're actually going through 5 mixers in less than a frame. This interface shows us the computers that the services are running on. Here we're running most of our services on a Windows computer, but we also have available 2 Linux computers. Here we have an example routing panel. So all those services are providing sources and destinations, and we can route sources to destinations using this control panel. This view shows the streams that are running This could be the video or the audio streams connected to each of the services, but we also include the control tracks, which are controlling what those services are doing in any particular point in time.